Mr. President, I rise today to discuss another topic that has become one of my major concerns throughout my Senate career, fixing our broken immigration system. As the son of an immigrant from Lithuania, my personal story exemplifies the experience of immigrants in this country and just how far the American dream can take you when you're afforded the opportunity. That's one of the reasons why 23 years ago, I introduced the DREAM Act, together with Republican Senator Orrin Hatch, who was then the chairman of the Senate Judiciary Committee. This bipartisan legislation was very simple. It provided a pathway to citizenship for young immigrants who were brought to the United States as infants, toddlers, and children, allowing them to remain legally in the country, the only home they ever knew, and to have a path to ultimate legality and citizenship. 11 years ago, I joined 7 of my colleagues to form the bipartisan Gang of 8, another effort towards immigration reform. We worked hard, 4 Democrats, 4 Republicans, and drafted a comprehensive immigration bill that included the DREAM Act. That bill passed the Senate with 68 bipartisan votes, yet House Republicans refused to even consider it and debate it. Unfortunately, we haven't made much progress since. Today, as we hear dangerous rhetoric from the president-elect about immigration, I worry for the immigrants and for the future of our country. We can all agree that any undocumented immigrant found guilty of a serious crime should never be allowed to stay in the United States. But the last time the president-elect was in office, it wasn't just criminals who were deported. We saw parents separated from their young children, some of them still separated to this day. And we saw dreamers, veterans, and spouses of U.S. citizens deported. They weren't criminals. Many of them were pillars in their home communities. Next week, I'll hold a hearing in the Senate Judiciary Committee focused on the chaos and cruelty that President-elect Trump's promised mass deportations could bring to our communities and our country. I rise today to highlight one of the dreamers whose loss would deeply impact her community and her family. This talented dreamer has spent her career educating America's future leaders. This is the 147th story of a dreamer that I've told on the Senate floor. This young woman's name is Dolce Martinez, better known by her students as Mrs. Martinez. She was brought to the United States from Puebla, Mexico, when she was 14 years old. As a child, she loved school and dreamed of becoming a computer teacher. But when a college counselor told her that she wasn't eligible for college, even with good grades, she was crushed. She felt hopeless and dropped out of school. It wasn't until Ms. Martinez started working that she realized her education meant too much to throw away. The skills she was learning on the job helped her realize just how valuable education was to her and to everyone else. She enrolled at the Borough of Manhattan Community College to finish her high school credits. She was able to obtain DACA, which allowed her to continue her studies at BMCC, where she received an associate's degree in early childhood education. She graduated with honors. Ms. Martinez went on to serve as BMCC mentor and employee, focusing on advocacy for immigrants and undocumented students. She also worked on the City University of New York Women's Centers Council. Today, Ms. Martinez has her dream as a lead teacher at Head Start Preschool in Brooklyn. She's pursuing a master's degree in early childhood education and conducted field work in early education. The proud mother of 4, Ms. Martinez uses her own life experience to educate and inspire young people. She is the embodiment of the American dream. Would America be better off if she is deported? No, of course not. She's teaching young children to have a future and to believe in themselves and the basic education that made her life so successful. DACA was a program put together by President Obama to pave the way for Ms. Martinez to pursue her dreams. But DACA was always intended to be a temporary stopgap until Congress did its job and fixed the broken immigration system by law. In Ms. Martinez's case, DACA was the opportunity she was looking for to go back to school and to kickstart her dreams. But since President Obama established the program, Republicans have waged a relentless campaign to overturn DACA and deport these dreamers back to countries they do not even remember. Now this program is hanging by a thread in the courts due to legal challenges from Republican state attorneys general, and DACA recipients are forced to live with uncertainty day to day. Last year, a federal judge in Texas declared the DACA program illegal, though the decision left in place protections for current DACA recipients while the case is on appeal. Dreamers live in constant fear that the next decision will spend their lives. You and I have heard over and over again when President-elect Donald Trump came before his rallies and described the immigrants he wants to deport: murderers, rapists, terrorists, people with mental problems and such. He goes on, time and again. But of course, Ms. Martinez does not belong to any one of those categories. She has made a life in America and made America better. The litigation that I'm concerned about prevented at least 500,000 additional dreamers from registering for the program. During his first term, then President Trump tried to shut down the DACA program, but the Supreme Court blocked him. Now he's pledged to pursue a mass deportation campaign. I'm going to do everything in my power to defend dreamers from being deported from the only country they call home. And I'm willing to work with anyone, including President-elect Trump, to pass legislation to give dreamers like Ms. Martinez a chance. I urge my colleagues to meet with these dreamers, come to know them, and in their states they're going to find that they're making invaluable contributions. These young people are ready and willing to help make America better. Dreamers like Dolce and Martinez have earned the right to put down roots, raise families, further their education, and continue contributing to our society without the threat of deportation hanging over their heads. It's time for Congress to get to work on a bipartisan basis, to defy the so-called experts, and to pass the DREAM Act and immigration reform. It's the right thing to do, and it's long overdue. Mr. President, I yield the floor.